All right, so let's get started on talking about tissues. Okay, so with this, so we talked about atom, molecule, organelle, cell. Now we're at tissues. What is tissues? Tissues is a group of cells. Histology, the study of tissues, we should be good with that. Vascular. Vascular means that it has a blood supply. So when we talk about vascular doctors, these are going to be dealing with blood vessels. If we put A in front of a word, A means no. So we're going to have some tissues that are avascular, that don't have a blood supply at all. We have 4 main types of tissues. So this first video is epithelial. Then we'll do muscular and nerve, and then we'll do connective. So I'm separating them into the different parts. Okay, so epithelial tissue is first. It is important that you know how it's classified. So it's classified by its shape and its number of layers. That's going to be a question on the test, and that is important. Functions. So when we talk about the functions, one of the biggest types of epithelial tissue is going to be my skin. So let's look at these functions and see if they match up. So my skin protects, my skin covers, my skin can sense things, my skin filters things out, my skin can secrete things, my skin can absorb things, my skin can excrete things. So skin is going to work for all of these, and you're going to have to know these for this chapter and for next chapter. All right, so skin is not the only epithelial tissue, but it's a really good example to think about when you want to think about the functions. So epithelial tissue has a lot of cells. All right, they form boundaries to separate us from the outside world. We talked about that when we said that one of the functions is to maintain boundaries. It is avascular, okay? How does it get its nutrients? It gets it through diffusion from the capillaries. I would mark that. That is important. All right. So how does my skin get its nutrients? It gets it from other parts of the body through diffusion. We have 2 surfaces. We have apical and we have basal. So apical means that I have 1 layer. And it's going to be the top, apical means that it's the top, and basal means that it's the bottom. So if I have 1 layer, apical is the top and basal is the bottom of the cell. If I have multiple layers, apical is going to be the top of the top layer and basal is going to be the bottom of the bottom layer. Simple means that I have 1 layer and 1 layer only. That's simple. Stratified means that I have multiple layers. And that should be right here. Okay? So simple is going to allow me to do some different things. Absorption, secretion, filtration. Where stratified is going to be more protection. I've got layers upon layers to make it harder for things to get through. We talked about this. All right. We have 3 types of membranes. We already did serous. So serous is that double-layered baggie. Remember that double-layered baggie? Mucus, think about your nose. So anything that has an open body cavity, so anything that can have access to the outside has to have mucus. So when we talk about this, your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your throat, your lungs, your esophagus, your stomach, your intestines, your bladder, everything that has access to the outside has to have mucus layer, some type of fluid. Where serous is going to be enclosed, unexposed body cavities. And then my 3rd layer that we're adding, cutaneous, is going to be the skin. So remember, this is my double baggie with the fluid in between. So this particular one is my pericardium, right? With the pericardial fluid in it. Peritoneum, and then pleura goes around the lungs. So 3 main shapes that we're looking at. Squamous, med term squamous means scale. So you can see my scale here. Cuboidal, when you look at it, it looks like a cube. Columnar looks like a column. All right, so let's look at this. So squamous is my first type. So it looks like a scale. If it's simple, that means that I have 1 scale. Stratified squamous means that I'm going to have many layers. So what I did in here is you're going to have to identify the function and where it's located at for every single type here. So what I did is I did the functions in green and I did the locations in purple, so that you can pick that stuff out. So one of the things that we looked at is we just said that simple squamous is because I want to be able to exchange stuff. So it's going to form membranes for filtration and exchange of substances. We need to be able to diffuse quickly. So the lungs, the blood vessels, and my serous membranes. Several layers. We're looking at protection. So mouth, where I'm chewing my food and going to easily be able to take off layers. Outer layer of skin, where I'm easily going to be able to take off layers. So this is what it looks like. So this is what it actually looks like inside of the body. See all these layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. Simple cuboidal is going to be cube shaped. Line the kidneys, glands, ducts, ovaries.
Garrett McAfee,
Look at the little cubes here.
Garrett McAfee, please report to the main office.
It's kind of hard to see, but you should be able to see the cubes. Simple columnar, they're shaped like tall columns. Going to be in the digestive and respiratory tract. And then pseudo, med term. Pseudo is false. So it looks like it's many, many layers, but it's not. The reason it does is because the nucleuses are mixed up. So this is what a simple looks like, where this is the false, where you see them all over, where it looks like a whole bunch of layers. But if you look at my fake picture, they're just kind of mixed up a little bit. Transitional is going to change shape. So my bladder, my uterus, and my urethra, where I need things to change shape and stretch out. Transition through, across. So I want you to think about a balloon, where a balloon is going to stretch and change shape as we put air in it. That's going to be the same with your bladder. So it's going to go to dome and flat-like, and then it's going to stretch itself out a little bit. Endo, inside. Exo, exit. So endocrine are going to be ductless. They're going to put stuff directly into the bloodstream. So it goes inside. Exocrine, exit, are going to have ducts. So it's got to send it out through a tube. So endo, in, goes right in the blood. So into the blood. That's endo. Exocrine has got to go out through a tube, a duct, to get where it needs to go. So think about sweat and oil. Those are some easy ones to think about. And this is what they look like. All right, we're going to stop there.